Batman is a world-famous playboy who in many continuities is the richest man in the world. And in the worlds where he isn't, he's still a billionaire. On top of which he's over 6 feet tall and handsome as hell. So needless to say, he has always garnered a lot of attention from the fairest sex. And for the most part, he actually handles this pretty well. He isn't a misogynist or disrespectful to women. Sure, he pretends to be a player to help hide his Batman identity, but he handles it quite maturely on the whole. That being said, there have been a few moments of completely inappropriate actions with women, and we're going to have a look at some of the worst ones. In All-Star Batman, the titular character is a bit different than we're used to seeing him. I mean, he's the same in the most sense of he's Batman billionaire and all that, but he also seems like he's kind of on crack half the time. He's just a little bit insane. Such as when he hooks up with Black Canary. Now, this isn't the Black Canary that most people are used to seeing. This is a separate universe where she is a bartender whom is sick of being sexually harassed every night, and one day when a guy tries to grab her ass, she snaps and beats up every man in the bar, steals all their money, and then steals one of their bikes and becomes a vigilante. It makes absolutely no sense in the least, which really is the best description for this comic series that I can give. I mean, Batman kidnaps Dick Grayson and makes him live in the Batcave, hunting rats to eat so he can survive. He also has Dick paint him yellow when he wants to talk to Green Lantern, so that Green Lantern can't use his ring against him. And Wonder Woman's hatred of men is turned up to 100, as she hates every man, including all the ones in the Justice League who she thinks are weak failures, except for Superman, basically because he has super strength and because she wants to sleep with him. It is a weird series that I fully recommend reading, because although it makes no sense, it is pretty entertaining. Anyway, Black Canary is in the process of robbing a bunch of criminals of their money when one calls her Love Chunks, which is a bit of a trigger phrase for her, and so she starts beating the crap out of all of them and knocking all their teeth out. Sadly, some of them have guns, and so they stop her from robbing them, and that's when Batman turns up to save her, by murdering all of the gangsters and setting fire to their bodies. And then Batman and Black Canary make love besides their burning and rotting corpses. Now, this is inappropriate for a number of reasons. For starters, the smell that would be coming off of those bodies, oi. And of course the fact that they don't even know each other, as they've never met before and haven't even so much as talked to one another. Although in fairness, that seems to be the part that excites them the most. As Batman says, they keep their masks on. It's better that way. And though Batman does offer a lift home afterwards, since it's raining and she only has her bike, still, when she talks to him, he simply tells her to shut up when he doesn't agree with her, and when she says that maybe he should try talking to more people and not just people he's punching in the face, he tells her to shut the hell up. So, you know, not the greatest of interactions. But the biggest problem is the fact that it seems like Black Canary is just bribing Batman into not beating her up or reporting her to the police by sleeping with him. Or just distracting him from the fact that she was actually the one that was robbing the gangsters before Batman turned up. But in any case, all of this is very inappropriate. So I'd say this is definitely a contender for his worst moment with a woman. But then of course we have Batgirl. Now, in almost every version of these characters, Batgirl is a lot younger than Batman, and he usually takes Batgirl under his wing as her mentor. Now sure, Batgirl may find him attractive and she may have flirted with him here and there on a few occasions, but this is kind of to be expected. I mean, she's young and he is handsome, famous and powerful. She's allowed some harmless flirting here and there. I mean, that's just life. The problem is when Batman lets it go further than that, such as when they start fighting, then kissing, then making love on top of a rooftop. I mean, it goes all the way that it can go, and it's not a good idea. I mean, as her mentor, he should have shut it down immediately, because he is her boss and mentor. So the balance of power is off, and quite frankly, it's a bit creepy, especially considering the age difference. But instead of doing that, he lets it continue all the way, and then afterwards, he ghosts her. I mean, that is just insult to injury. I mean, how can your mentor and boss just ghost you? He takes no steps to fix the situation in any way, and he just ignores her with no explanation as to why.
It was fantastic. Like fireworks.
Yeah?
Except he's been avoiding me. At least I think he is. We haven't talked.
And that's how it continues. Instead of just being a rational adult and saying, hey, we made a mistake, let's get over it, he decides to let Batgirl do everything.
It was just sex, for God's sake. It doesn't have to mean anything. It's not like we have to care. I don't care. You don't care. We just go back like it was. That's all.
until eventually she has no choice but to retire from being a hero because Batman can't stand to be around her anymore since they slept together. Why this means he can't be around her anymore is anyone's guess, but I figure he must just be ashamed of his actions. And in some respects, the aftermath is actually worse than them hooking up in the first place. I mean, seriously, it's very disrespectful and just plain mean to treat a friend and a colleague this way. I mean, if you're not prepared to act like an adult, don't go out and do it in the first place. It's quite simple. And in the comic book Batman Beyond 2.0, it's actually worse, because in that version, Batman gets her pregnant and they have a whole love triangle between him, Dick Grayson and Barbara. But that's another story, and I've already done a video on it, but I'll put a link in the video's description for those who want to hear the full story. But in any case, I would say that these two are the most inappropriate moments that Batman has had with a woman. And I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which one you think is worse. Him sleeping with a random criminal so she doesn't have to face justice, or him taking advantage of his position as a mentor and sleeping with his mentee. Or you may think that both of these are just equally wrong, and there may even be some of you who think that he did nothing wrong in either one of these occasions. But in any case, discuss it in the comments and we'll see what the common consensus is. And of course, if you know of any other more inappropriate moments that Batman has had with a woman, then please let us know in the comments. And I'd just like to quickly remind everyone that we have some merchandise available on our store, and to say thanks to all of you who have donated to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.